What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gaming with Nimbus. And today we are going to take a look at my Super Nintendo collection. We've already done my PlayStation collection, my Neo Geo collection, my Game Boy Color collection. Did we do Game Boy Color? I think it was I think it was just Game Boy. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to correct me down in the comments below. So today we are going to look at my Super Nintendo collection, okay? So we're not gonna talk about them. I'm gonna show you what it is, on to the next, and keep going, because I have a couple of Super Nintendo games, so we're just gonna do it like that. But before we get started, as you can see, we have merch for the channel, okay? We've got snapbacks, we got beanies, we got sweaters, we got hoodies, we got t-shirts. We got a new t-shirt design, okay? It looks like this, okay? Do you guys like it? You could buy it, okay? We even have phone cases. We have book bags. We have fanny packs, okay? I'm gonna leave the link to the store down in the description down below. That way you guys could check it out. If you guys want to buy, great. Thank you for supporting the channel. Another thing we need to talk about is, look at the graph. The graph is getting better. But there's still a lot of you guys that are watching the channel and the videos and aren't yet subscribed to the channel. So let's get this graph looking better. If you have an opportunity right now, let's do it right now. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel right now, okay? You subscribe? Thank you. Awesome. Let's get into it.
Let's go!
Now, our first game in my Super Nintendo collection is Three Ninjas Kick Back. Great movie. I like the movie. The next game in my collection is Axe Raider. And I also have Axe Raider 2. The next game is Alien 3. Next game coming up is Animaniacs. We have our first fighting game for the collection, Art of Fighting. Yeah, I know, my label's all messed up. I need a label upgrade. The next game on the list, if you will, Batman Forever. Not a great game. No. The next game in my collection is another Batman game, but it's a good Batman game, Batman Returns. The next game in my Super Nintendo collection is a classic, Battletoads and Double Dragons. The next game in my collection is Bill Laimbeer's Kombat Basketball. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah. The next game in my collection is Captain America and the Avengers. The next game in my collection is Carrier Ace. We have another classic in our collection, Castlevania 4. We once again have another collection that I have spent hours playing this game now and when I was a kid. Contra 3, The Alien Wars. Another classic on the Super Nintendo, which there are many, Donkey Kong Country, and I have Donkey Kong Country 2. I don't have Donkey Kong Country 3. I need to get that. The next game in my collection is Doom. The next game in my collection is Double Dragon 5. The next game in my collection is Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. The next game in my collection, I can honestly say I've never played before. And I don't even remember picking this game up, but I have it, and it's Family Dog. I have no idea what this game is. Not a clue. Another classic on the Super Nintendo, Final Fight. We have many classics on the Super Nintendo, but one of them is Ghoul Patrol. A great shoot 'em up on the Super Nintendo, and that is Gradius 3. Another game in my collection is Hammerlock Wrestling. A perfect game to talk about now because Christmas just passed, Home Alone. The next game in my collection is Indiana Jones, The Greatest Adventure. The next game on the list, Joe and Mac. The next fighting game I have on the Super Nintendo, Killer Instinct. Combo Breaker! The next game in my collection is a great beat 'em up game for the Super Nintendo, and that is Knights of the Round. The next game in my collection is Lethal Enforcer. The next game on the list is a weird Super Mario Bros. Game, if you even want to call it a Super Mario Bros. Game, but is Mario's missing. It's not the best game, but it's Mario. Technically Luigi, you're playing as Luigi. For all you Marvel heads out there, we have Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems. The next game is a must-have if you have a Super Nintendo, and that is Mega Man X. The next game on the list is a game that I played a ton of as a kid because I was a super fan of this, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The next fighting game I'm going to show you in my collection for the Super Nintendo is Mortal Kombat, a straight classic. And let's not forget Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3. I'm missing Ultra Mortal Kombat 3. I need to buy that. The next game on my list is Miss Pac-Man. The next game in my collection is The Legend of the Mystical Ninja. The next game in my collection is a game that we played a ton of hours in. It was super fun. It was by far one of my favorite sports games at the time. That is NBA Jam Tournament Edition. He's on fire. The next game in my collection is Nickelodeon's Real Monsters. The next game in my collection is one of those classics, Pilot Wings. The next game in my collection is Power Ranger Zeo Battle Racers. The next game in my collection is another game that I've never played, didn't even know I had, Rival Turf. I don't know what this is. I don't. The next game in my collection is the Roadrunners Death Valley Rally. The next fighting game I'm going to show you in my Super Nintendo collection, Samurai Showdown. The next game in my Super Nintendo collection is Soldiers of Fortune. Another classic on the Super Nintendo is Soul Blazer. One of the best beat 'em ups on the Super Nintendo, and that is Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage. Another classic on the Super Nintendo, the original Star Fox. Now, if you guys have been a part of this channel for a while, you guys know that this game I'm about to show you is my favorite game of all time, my favorite franchise, I would say, and that is Street Fighter 2. But I don't just have this version of Street Fighter 2. I have Super Street Fighter 2, well, not Super, but Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Super Street Fighter 2. And I also have Street Fighter Alpha 2. Yes, Street Fighter Alpha 2 did come out on the Super Nintendo. It was a miracle that this game was even able to play on the Super Nintendo. The next game in my collection is Street Racer. The next game in my collection is Super Buster Brothers. Another classic on the Super Nintendo was Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Great game. The next game in my collection is Super Mario Bros. All-Star. And I also have Super Mario All-Star with Super Mario World. They were both the same games, but this one had Super Mario World added. Still good. Really good games. Another classic on the Super Nintendo is the original Mario Kart. Since we're talking about classics, let's continue down that list talking about Super Mario Bros. RPG and The Legend of the Seven Stars. Great game. Now this is the classic of all classics, that if you had a Super Nintendo game, 100% you had this game, and that is Super Mario World. Another game in my collection is Supernova. The next game in my collection is Super Off-Road. Another classic on the Super Nintendo, and that is Super R-Type. The next game in my collection is T2. The next game in my collection is Tasmania. Another classic on the Super Nintendo was Tetris and Dr. Mario. The next game in my collection is The Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse. Now this game is classic beyond classic, okay? I'm sure everyone has played this game. It's one of the best games ever. The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. The next game in my collection The Lion King. The next game in my collection is Tin Star. Next game coming up is Toy Story. The next game coming up is Toys. Now, by far, arguably the best beat 'em up on the Super Nintendo, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. The next fighting game I'm going to show you guys is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tournament Fighters. The next game I'm going to show you, it's a shooter, and it's UN Squadron. The next game in my collection is Vegas Stakes. The next game in my collection is Wanderers from Yeast 3. The next game in my collection is Wayne's World, Party On, excellent. The next game coming up is Weapons Lord. The next game in my collection is Wing Commander. Another classic on the Super Nintendo, and that is Yoshi's Island. The next game in my collection is X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. The next game in my collection is Wolverine Antimanium Rage. The last fighting game in my Super Nintendo collection is World Heroes 2. Now I'm going to show these two together, and that is, we have the Super Game Boy and the Game Genie for the Super Nintendo. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here, okay? I know this video was a little bit long, okay, but we had a ton of Super Nintendo games to go through. This is the reason why I was just showing you the game, moving on to the next, alright guys? So, if you like this video, give me the thumbs up, comment down below, let me know if you have these games, if you don't want these games, if you want these games, and if you're thinking about starting a Super Nintendo collection, if you already have a Super Nintendo collection, okay? So, let me know down in the comments below, okay? Let's not forget, if you guys are interested in merch, the link to the store will be down in the description down below. Check it out, buy if you want, support the channel, okay? With that being said, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel neither. I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Gaming with Nimbus. Deuces.